The next series of demonstrations I want to take you through is going to be the assessment of a server still looking at reconnaissance by using what we call a null session or a anonymous session. So here's a Windows command prompt where we're going to use the netuse command, specify the server target IP address, \IPC $, and the IPC $ is used for the inter-process communication channel, which is otherwise used for client-server secure communication between those two systems. Space double quote, which simply means no password, space / u user and no user account. So hence the anonymous access, we're not going to use any username or password to create that null session. Once we've created that null session, we're able to use quite a few of the enumeration tools for null sessions, and the one tool that I want to demonstrate is going to be the get account. So with opening up get account, which is a free tool, specify the target IP address range, or IP address at least, and then end within a specific relative ID. Now effectively I can obviously up that relative ID field, but I just want to get the first couple of entries that have a RID less than 1050. By default, when you rename the administrator account, immaterial of what you rename it to, a malicious person is going to be looking for the RID of 500 because that will denote that it's a default admin account. And there you can see you're able to look at the different fields, the parameters, and some of the other account specific settings such as logon hours and so forth. So you're able to get a lot of information from just simply doing a null session or anonymous session and then using a tool like get account. So naturally get account, it's going to be a GUI tool. Well, let's move on to an example of using Linux now. So this is a tool called SMB dump users. It's very much the same as the get account, except a little bit more stable from my experience because it's not a GUI tool, but yet gives you the exact same parameters or output as some of those Windows GUI tools. So in this instance, just take note, I don't need to actually create a null session. This will automatically do it for me. And as you can see, it's going to give me the whole long list of user accounts on that system. Now we can also do a SID mapping of that. This was just looking at the actual user names on that system. And if we have a look at this syntax, it changes to our 2000 server, which is just looking at using the SMB get server info, giving us specific information about the server. Another tool that you can use is the RPC client and the SMB client built into Backtrack, and that's going to give you quite a bit more capabilities looking for the SIDs and so on. So definitely start looking at practicing with something like Backtrack. Right, so we had a look at creating a null session to our 2000 server. Well, let's have a look at trying to change this now and create a null session to our 2003 server. And we'll find in a few moments we're going to be able to complete that null session to that 2003 server. But should we now try and use a tool like get account as an example to enumerate that 2003 server, you'll see it's going to come back with access denied. So continuing to one of my favorite Windows security tools, Cain Enable. Remember, Cain is the one that's used to sniff, Enable is the one used to crack. But we can use Cain Enable far more extensively than just for sniffing and brute force dictionary types of attacks. I'm going to go ahead to click on the Network tab, and on the quick list I'm going to go along and add to that quick list. And in this instance I'm going to add our 2003 server, select OK. Once we've done that, that will automatically go along and create a null session, the anonymous session, to our 2003 server. Now if we look at enumeration of it, we're going to get an error message on groups, access denied. If we look at services, same thing, shares, and when we get to users and we click start user enumeration, we'll also get the access denied. However, CAN-Enable's got this little built-in tool called SID scanner that if we click on OK, we are still able to enumerate the 2003 server by using the SID walker or SID scanner. That's the component of CAN-Enable. And as you can see, it's not going to give you as much detail as it would do against a 2000 server, but you're still able to enumerate that 2003 server.